Welcome in. I'm glad you all are in the room with us tonight. So we just kind of laying down just a few guidelines. So total honesty, absolute confidentiality, and then understand, let's respect uniqueness and individuality. Every relationship is unique, y'all. Every relationship that everybody has been in is unique, and no one else's opinions about the relationships to the people that have affected our lives is solicited nor helpful. All right. So the safety of our individuality is really dependent upon this. All right. So I want to make sure that we're just being respectful for that, and in the midst of that, and be respectful to each other. All right. We good? Hey, Tammy, welcome in here. All right. All right, we good on that. All right, so there's a few things that I want to be able to cover this week. Now, y'all know I'm generally very organic, and I'm gonna be that way in this over these 8 weeks too. But there's some things that I know that I want to be able to touch on, and I just feel like you're not gonna want to miss any of these weeks. And again, this is not gonna be based off of me, honestly. It's really gonna be based off of you all. It's gonna really be based off of how deep you all are willing to go, what you're really willing to bring into your heart. There's about eight things, and I know that some of them are going to mix together, some of them are going to mesh together, but we have grace for each other, so y'all know how it really goes, and we take different directions sometimes. But I want to make sure, and today we'll start talking about some of the first things with getting emotionally complete and closure, or whatever. If we're going to reclaim our moral for that, but here I'm just going to lay out just for you just a few of the topics or a few of the bullet points that we're going to kind of hit over the next 8 weeks. All right, so getting emotionally complete. This is different than what most people saying they need closure. All right. So I'll talk a little bit more about being emotionally complete. We're going to talk about guarding your heart the real way. All right. Not this stuff that everybody walking around here doing. It might be a little tight in here too. I just want y'all to know that already. All right. It might get a little tight. Somebody say it might be tight, but it's right.
It might be tight, but it's right.
Right. And when I say right, when I say it might be tight, but it's right, I don't necessarily mean right as in right or wrong, like it's definitely, whatever, but I am gonna, like we really here for a reason, and we're really here to try to really heal. So we're gonna talk about guarding our heart in the best way possible, the most appropriate way to truly guard our heart. And there'll be a part one to that. Then shifting from a survival mind, and it's not gonna be in this order necessarily, so I'm just throwing them out. Shifting from a survival mindset to a thriving mindset. Folks, that is hugely important. Shifting from a survival mindset to a thriving mindset. Most of us, listen, most of us operate from a survival mindset. And that survival mindset helps us for a minute, but I promise you that in the long run, that's not real healing. All right. All right. So shifting from a survival mindset to a thriving mindset, tapping into your authentic power. All right. That's going to be a huge piece because you can't control nobody else. All right. And then number five, it is, or one of the fifth points is going to be guiding your steps. So we got guarding your heart, but also guiding your steps, reclaiming my time. How many of y'all know Maxine Waters? Maxine Waters says, reclaiming my time, reclaiming my time. Somebody just shouted real quick, reclaiming my time.
Reclaiming
Claiming
my
my
time.
time.
So we're going to talk about reclaiming my time, and then releasing
Oh,
the releasing the expectations to others, releasing the expectations of others to heal you. All right. Now we'll talk deeply. We'll talk more deeply about that because y'all know I am a communicative person, a community person. All right. So we're going to put all of these things into proper perspective of that in a way that I think would help heal our heart and move our heart forward. Because how many of you sometimes just feel stuck? Yep, I see some hearts. Sometimes we just feel stuck, honestly. Like it's just the truth. Remember the first thing. So I don't want nobody here faking the funk. We're not going to be Academy Award winning. I said it the other day in one of my grief groups, Academy Award winning grievers. We're not going to do all that. We're going to we're gonna lay it out and tell the truth or whatever. So total honesty is going to be a huge part of it. And sometimes we feel stuck. And then that last thing is going to be guarding our heart, part two. But I'm sure we'll go through all of these and get through these in a way that we really need to function. But today, I really want to focus on this because I want to focus on this area of this right now, the whole getting emotionally complete versus this whole idea of closure. All right. Because I think that is hugely important because most of the time, obviously, you all are here because something has broken your heart. Am I right or am I wrong? All right, in some kind of way. And this is what I want to see a lot of, all right, because this is the only way. This is not like a video group, and it's not, and I want to, it's still the audio rooms like normal, but I want it to be a lot more interactive than our audio rooms normally are, because this one is particularly a 8-week masterclass type session. I really want to see your participation as best as we can and hear your participation as best as we can. And I want you to draw out of me what you need. Now, I'm putting myself in a position when I say that. All right. So don't run me ragged, but and this does not mean that I have the answers to everything, because I don't. And y'all know that. Everybody that's been with me in any type of groups know I rarely do I even offer answers. But what we want to make sure that we do, and to me, master classes are not necessarily just about answers. And I try to run all my rooms this way, but master classes are not just about answers. Master classes are about us really aligning to our authentic self and walking in wisdom regarding who we are. All right. And navigating through some difficult times. All right. So y'all with me? Y'all with me so far? Everybody with me so far? All right. All right, cool. So, getting emotionally complete versus this whole idea of closure, and really diving deep into that. Because if our hearts are broken, all right, here's one of the things that I have seen so many times, y'all, is when certain information falls upon a broken heart, it's very likely that that broken heart will take that information and go make a bigger mess. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
hmm hmm And this is a lot of what we're seeing today. This is one of my grievances. A lot of what we're seeing today is a lot of information falling upon broken hearts. All right, and I'm doing air quotes when I say broken hearts, because I don't believe ultimately, my hope, my wish, um, my greatest namaste, divine in me seeing the divine in you, is not that you're broken to the degree where you need to be fixed. All right. There's certain things that have grieved us, right? So there's the brokenness of I feel grieved regarding certain things, or I'm trying to align some things in my life. And then there's the broken as in this thing ain't functioning the way it's supposed to be functioning. And it ain't working in the way that it's supposed to be working. Now, one of the reasons that I know that your heart is not 100% broken or not working the way it's supposed to be working, because if it was, you wouldn't be in this room tonight. All right. You just wouldn't. You wouldn't even be in here. All right. So that says to me that there's something in you. This is not necessarily about you not working and needing to be fixed. Something in you is working right. Something in you is working properly. Something in you is reaching out for just maybe even more information, or maybe more alignment, or maybe more, I don't know, whatever. But I want y'all to talk to me real quick about, what do you all believe when we talk about closure? What is that? What does that mean to you? All right, what does that mean for you when you've heard that, when you felt that? Has it worked anyway? Like, just talk to me a little bit about it. Just give me a few people that want to just, and don't take up the whole night. Just give me a few minutes, a little bit, and talk to me about it for a second or whatever. All right, go ahead, Patricia.
The first thing that comes to my mind is when you have peace over something that hurts you.
Mm, okay, okay. Peace over something that hurts you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool, cool. Go ahead, Nicole.
I feel like whenever you have all of your questions answered, for the most part, for both parties, I think there can be closure.
Okay, all right. When your questions are answered for both parties. All right, cool. Casey, go ahead.
What I will say is that I think for a long time, I felt like the only way to get closure was to get some kind of understanding from my ex. But I think over time, I've realized that closure is just having peace with not having all the answers and just
Okay.
being okay with that.
Okay. Cool. 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 Who else? Who do we got? Nicole. Nicole, was that you? That was you talking. Allie, go ahead.
I've been thinking it would feel like maybe indifference um
Mm,
towards
okay.
towards my ex.
Okay. Indifference. All right, Alex.
Uh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. For me, it's like instinctually, I know I won't be able to get closure from my ex-husband. Um, he wants to say that it's due to childhood trauma, that's why there was abuse, which I
Hmm.
feel like is not taking accountability for what abuse is. So that
Hmm.
is a struggle for me.
Okay. All right. All right. Beth Ann, then Angelo.
Yeah, there is no closure for me other than allowing myself to feel the feelings I'm going through right now and grieving, and that's my closure. And
Okay.
forgiving myself.
Effort.
And I do forgive the person, I really do. I just don't understand how he could live with himself, the things he did and how he did it, and especially knowing him like most of my life since I was 17 years old. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's, yeah, that's what it is for
Okay.
me.
All right. Cool. And Angelo, go ahead, man.
LeAnzar, what is the question again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
The question. Everybody say shame on you, Angelo.
I'm sorry.
He in the car riding with grandma and them, and they out there
Yeah.
all getting ready to go get them some food because they done won at bingo. You know.
Okay,
The question.
my mother is also listening to
The,
you, and my mother is
the,
going to get you.
oh,
He has to join
love you,
us.
mama.
No problem.
Love you, mama.
He
Love you.
says
I am
he
love for
has
you.
to
I'm
join
love for you, mama. So the question was though closure. What is that idea of closure? Like what is that? What is that to you?
us. Oh, I can't even answer that right now. I'm sorry.
Hmm. All right.
I'm
All
thinking
right.
about doors opening at this point. I'm so tired.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Go ahead, Nat.
Closure to me is like when both parties can recognize that there was wrongdoing and there can be like mutual forgiveness.
Okay. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Lou. Aloha.
Aloha, brother. I think for me, closure means being at peace with my understanding of a situation, because I can never fully understand anyone else's take on things or exactly why they have done things. So it's just being at peace with my understanding.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then D. Go ahead, D.
For me, it is being physically, mentally, emotionally healed from the inside out.
All right. All right. Physically, mentally, emotionally healed from the inside out. So a lot of times we talk about the whole ideas of closure and some of the things that you guys said. I love hearing your takes on it and hearing how you have put your spin on it. Spins on it. One of the biggest things that I've heard somebody say, heard a couple of you say that you mentioned peace, peace actually being in the midst of this. So I want to offer us another word. All right, other than closure. All right, just because generally speaking, the idea of closure, in a lot of instances, and I know some of you didn't say this and didn't, don't need it in this particular way, but some of you didn't say this, but a lot of times when we think closure, there's some requirement on the other person. All right, and we may not ever get that. And even if you got all of your questions answered from someone, guess what? It might not be the answer that you wanted, and it might not be just there's just so many things that can go into that, and it might happen. And I'm not saying that those things won't happen or can't happen because they may happen in a way that you need for them to happen. But I want to offer us another word other than closure. All right, so this is one of our first. I guess you could say one of our first vocabulary words if we're going to talk about reclaiming out tomorrow. All right, it's completion. It's to get complete. All right, now what we mean by complete is this completion or completeness. And this is like, and honestly, you all, the principles that we're going to talk about here, they're not just for divorce. So I really kind of, in some sense, I know we're going to highlight in that area. I know this is in the divorce segment of circles and all this other stuff, whatever. But I promise you, the principles that we're going to talk about here that I want to highlight, they're going to help you, and they're gonna move us forward in anything in our life, in any area of our life, any areas of our life that has caused us grief in any kind of way, has caused us pain, has caused us hurt. I truly believe that this will actually help navigate us forward with anything. So if you got folks that you need to get on here and they need to hear this and they ain't divorced, or even if they've been through a breakup or separation, if it ain't even a breakup or separation, it's just things they need to learn in life, send them over this way. All right, because I think we're going to go through some of these things, and I think that it can be applied. This is where you put on your wisdom caps. All right. Many of y'all have heard me say that wisdom is like water, it goes into the cracks. So even if I'm not hitting an exact situation that you're facing and all of the extremes and uniqueness of different things that you have gone through specifically, the wisdom of these things can go into where they need to go regarding your life. So open up your heart. And let's just say that, I don't know you all, those of you that have a higher power or God, for those that believe in God or however you believe it, if you just believe in yourself, at this point, don't even matter. What I want you to say is to tell yourself to be open for wisdom, to pray that your heart would be open for wisdom, to pray that your mind would be open for wisdom. And listen, even this, because some of this stuff is somatic and it ends up in our bodies, to tell your body to open up for wisdom, to all of your being to open up for wisdom. All right. I believe more so God says if you lack wisdom, ask for it. So this is what we're doing. We're asking for it. All right. To really flow through us where we want. But in this thing, completeness or completion versus closure. All right. Completion is the result of having delivered. How can I put it? It's the result of having delivered emotional communication that either we have never made or we weren't heard making. So sometimes it's something that we have to say again. A lot of times when we're going through things and our hearts are stuck, there's undelivered emotional communication that's there. All right. Somebody say undelivered emotional communication. All right.
Undelivered emotional communication.
Thanks. I just do that so that I can make sure that everybody's still with me. All right. And I'm not talking about just the tantrum that we have where we're screaming and yelling at the top of our lungs for somebody to actually hear us, because usually when we're screaming and yelling at the top of our lungs for somebody to hear us, a lot of times they didn't hear us anyway. All right. So, my grandmother used to say, they don't hear you. They don't hear all that. Y'all stop all that yelling. Stop. Anybody got a grandmama that used to cut out all that yelling? Stop all that yelling. They don't hear you when you're doing all that yelling. My grandma used to say to the parents, and I remember saying to my mother and them, and all that, them kids don't hear you when you're yelling at them. All they hear is the yelling. And they were so right. But being emotionally complete, it is the result of having delivered emotional communication that either we have never made or we have felt was never heard, or that we need to be said again with someone hearing us say it. This is important right here. Someone needs to hear you say it. All right. It's not enough just for you to say whatever this undelivered emotional communication is. Somebody else, another living, breathing heart that can receive it, hear me, here's wisdom, that can receive it, needs to hear you actually say it. All right. It gives us the ability to, I want y'all to really hear this, and I'm reading this straight from my notes here. It gives us the ability to say goodbye to any pain which may be limiting us from fond memories, and say goodbye to any unmet hopes, dreams, and expectations about the future. Somebody say unmet hopes, dreams, and expectations about the future.
Unmade hopes, dreams, and
You almost got it right.
I
Unmet hopes, hopes, dreams, and expectations.
and expectations. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of times when we're going through divorce or separation or just different grief, there's something that we hope for. There's something that we dreamt of. There's something that we expected. And there's nothing wrong. I know we live in a world where now everything, and even one of our points here is releasing ourselves of the expectation of some things. But I want to, and when we get to that, I'll make sure I try to make everything as clear as I possibly can. There's no point of getting on these things. I say this all the time, get on here talking all this stuff and doing all these master classes and all of these other little support group sessions that we do in these audio rooms, and people don't get it. If we don't get it, if in all of our getting, we're not getting understanding, what's the point? Go ahead, D.
Oh, I was gonna say that's not true because
What ain't true?
you gave me an assignment. Is you told me specifically, don't think about my husband, only think about myself for 10 days. And baby, let me tell you, things have turned around because I'm not into tears no more. I'm into happiness, and I don't even think about him anymore. So thank you.
Okay. All right, now let me remind you what I said. I didn't say don't think about him. I said don't talk about him.
Don't talk about him, yes. But
Yeah.
sometimes when I think
Okay.
about him, I talk about him.
When
I'm
you
not
think
thinking
about, I
about him,
get
so
you.
I'm not talking about him.
I got it. I got you.
Zara,
I
she
got
said
you.
she wanted an A+ on that homework assignment.
I know that's right.
Exactly.
She's like, listen, you ain't finna get me. I heard that. Go ahead, D. All
But
right. So,
it's made a big difference, and I just want to let you know, y'all follow his instructions because it does work. I
amen.
failed the first week, but then I started all over. I picked myself up. I started all over because he said, "Nope, you didn't do what I told you to do." So yeah, I went back and I redid my assignment, and
Cool.
it does feel much better. So thank you very much.
You're so welcome. You're absolutely welcome, and thank you for doing it. All right. So with this complete part, as I mentioned in this completion, what do y'all think about that? So it gives you the ability to say goodbye to any. Now listen, what I'm telling you. It says it gives you the ability to say goodbye to. It gives you the ability to say goodbye to any pain, which may be limiting us from fond memories, and say goodbye to any unmet hopes, dreams, and expectations about the future. What y'all just hear me say? Somebody talk to me. Just with the whole thing of being complete versus just closure. What are you all hearing me say? And I'm really holding y'all to it. Because, like in the audio rooms, the regular audio rooms, we slip away with some stuff and, because we all busy, we got stuff going on. Is that? But I want to know I want to hear you regurgitate some of the things that's actually being said. Go ahead, Patricia.
It sounded to me like you said stop holding yourself back.
Ooh.
Those words hit me like stop holding yourself back.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, anybody resonate with with what Patricia just said? Go ahead, Rochelle.
Sorry, my mic. Hi, everyone. Hi, Zar. To me,
Hey.
I took it as acceptance and just your definition of what closure was as far as delivering, emotional communication that's never been heard and the ability to say goodbye to unmet dreams, hope, and expectations. All I have to say is I'm so in alignment. It's not even funny because the space that me and my ex is in, again, we're not together. We're still trying to figure it out, but trying to heal in our own space. But the fact that we were able to communicate things that we were never able to communicate for many years and be raw with what we were sharing to each other about what was happening or what happened in our relationship, the hurt and the pain. We just went through this, and once we did that, there was a sense of peace that everybody kept mentioning earlier, when you were
Hmm.
asking them, what closure is, et cetera, et cetera. But I just had to say that because when you were just saying all this stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, this is something that I was going through, because even though I'm still in pain and I'm still healing, there's peace within me, and there's no anger, there's no, I can't explain it, but I just had to say that. But to me, I felt like it's just accepting what is, yeah, that's all I have to say.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Anybody else on that? Go ahead, Beth Ann.
Okay, sorry. I was taking notes about how I felt about this whole thing.
Hmm.
Is you know, okay. So I like the fact that you said about you know, knowing that sometimes, well, for me, I'm just gonna talk for me because I've been emotional all day, even in another room. But the thing was that what really hit me was having the ability to speak it, because then I have a voice, which I never had before, and that allows me to have, when I was with him, that allows me to have closure so I can let things go and so I can heal and I can come to terms with the fact that I won't ever get closure, but I can let that go, and my expectations of the future that will not happen, which is okay. And I'm actually really good with that part of it, especially concerning him. That's the celebration. But for me, that leads me on a path to peace within myself and within the whole thing, from going to survival mode to a thriving mode.
Yeah. 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 Love it. Go ahead, D. D. D going once. D going
I'm
twice.
sorry. I'm sorry. I had my
Oh, okay.
mute on. I'm sitting here talking away. So a few weeks ago, you gave me that assignment, and like I said, it really has made a big impact on my in my spirit for myself. Okay, this is not about anybody else. This is about me. It's not about my husband. It's not about my children. It's about me and how I feel within the peace within myself. I never thought that I would get in a position to be in the presence of my husband and not be emotional. But with your assignment, I actually went to a birthday party to celebrate my grandson's second birthday. My husband was there, and I was at complete peace. I didn't even speak to him. I didn't even acknowledge him. I spent time with my grandson. When the birthday party was over, I got in my car and drove away, and I never shed a tear.
All right. So I want to say this real quick. What does peace bring you? What type of emotion does peace ignite?
It brought me I felt very excited for myself.
Excited, happy for yourself. All right. So this is
Happy
what I
for
want us to
myself.
do. This is what I want us to do because I want us to say this. You said it. Somebody else said it a little bit earlier too. I want us to stop saying that I was emotional today. You're emotional every day.
No.
No, you are. You're
Well, I mean,
emotional
we're
every day.
emotional creatures. Yes. In general, we
Yeah.
are.
So,
Yes.
and the reason that I'm saying, and again, this is masterclass, y'all. So
Right.
this is elevated. This is elevated. The reason I want you to stop saying that you were emotional this day versus the other day is because we're always emotional.
Right.
What we're not in a lot of times is sadness. We're not crying all the time. We're not whatever
Right.
all the time. But even if
Right.
you're happy, that's emotional. And we have to reclaim. If you're going to reclaim tomorrow, you got to reclaim your emotions. We have
Right.
to give back to emotions what it deserves. Emotions are not bad. Emotions are not, do you know what I mean? It's like
Right.
they're communicative. They're letting us know what the temperature is in the room. So even sadness, it has its place. It's not a negative emotion. It's just not a feel good emotion. All right.
Right.
So as we begin to make the shifts, and there's going to be a reason why I'm going to be tedious with some of these things, because again, anything that we're doing, what we're doing in reclaiming is we're rewiring our brain. All right, this
Right.
is what this is. You're not just getting a bunch of information just to sit fat. You're actually rewiring your brain. This is called neuroplasticity. All right, so in some senses, you're reshaping the foundation in which we've operated in life. And most all of the world say, "Oh, I'm so emotional." You know what I mean? It's like, y'all, we always are emotional. Like everything that we do is emotional, but we only consider the tears. Oh, they're so emotional because they're crying. You know
Right.
what I mean? So then
Right.
everything else gets a bad rap. So not a shot at you. It's just I want us to really dig this stuff in. I
Right.
want us
I
to
got you.
dig
I
this
got
in.
you. But
You got
I guess my point was, for the first time in months, I was at peace.
no, I get it. No, I
In
get it.
his
I get it.
presence, in my presence,
Yeah.
in my children's presence.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good feeling to know
Ye-
that he
exactly.
didn't get the best of me.
Yeah,
I didn't
exactly.
allow
Exactly.
him to bring me down.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't even matter whether it ain't got nothing to do with him regardless. You felt
Right.
what you felt, and
Right.
that happiness that you felt, that excitement that you felt was emotional, and it was,
It
for
was a
you,
good feeling. Yeah,
it
it
was
was a
a
good
great
feeling.
feeling. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So yep. All right,
Uh,
cool. Thanks. Thank you so much for that, D. Go ahead, Angelo.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. I'm driving right now. I got my grandmother and my nephew in the car with me. So today, I know we're talking about like relationships and divorce and stuff like that, but I want you to know that today I resigned from my job of 12 years. I let that go.
Mm-hmm.
It was really hard decision,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt in my spirit when I woke up that it was done.
That it was done.
No, I don't feel.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't feel relief yet, man. My grandmother said relief. I said no, I don't feel that yet.
Now tell me how that associates with the question about completion.
It is like for me, I began as a temporary employee, and then I moved from, like I said, it was 12 years. So then I moved into a permanent employee, and I've just risen up in the levels of the job itself.
Hmm.
And I mean, I moved to Hawaii for this job, and then made the decision to move back to Maryland from Hawaii, and then now it's gone. I
Okay.
resigned today.
Okay. All right.
So you
Blessings,
talk
blessings.
about a full circle.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, blessings on that. Blessings on that.
Cool.
All right. Cool. Let's go ahead. Go ahead, lady.
Man, caught me right in the middle of eating a cookie.
Oh, go ahead and finish chewing that cookie, because I know when y'all get me in the middle of eating a cookie.
Thank you, Zara.
You're welcome. When y'all get me in the middle of eating a cookie, I want to finish it.
Oh, Angela, I just before you leave though, I wanted to ask Angela, why'd you finish?
No, 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 nope. I don't want to go there.
You
I don't
don't?
want to go there right now. I want to stay on topic. I want to make sure
Okay.
we're staying flowing where we're flowing. The question on the table was our thoughts about completion.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
tomorrow will be my 19-year anniversary of my marriage,
Hmm.
and I I I'm finally at the point where I'm like, okay, I want to file tomorrow, like tomorrow,
Okay. Okay.
and I just don't want to spend another year in the hopes of things will change. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
that it will get better, and that it will get better, and that I'm done with taking the breadcrumbs and hoping that the breadcrumbs are a trail to the banquet. You know what I mean? And just
Okay.
realizing that the breadcrumbs have been breadcrumbs, and that's all they're ever going to be, and nothing else. And just not. And I think a lot of it have to do with what you said yesterday, and that was unconditional worth. And I
Mm.
don't know why, but that's still like, I don't know how many rooms I done dropped it in today, and how many friends I done told that word today, but it really changed my perspective. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
And um, that no matter who's loving me, or who isn't loving me, I'm I'm worthy, and I'm worthy to. And the thing was that, you know, I have, I don't know, an aversion every time I hear people say self love. Oh, you just gotta love yourself. And it's like, just to me, I feel like love is something that is a gift that you give, right, to other
Hmm.
people.
Hmm.
And to me, like when they talk about, oh, self love is like caring for yourself and doing things for yourself. To me, I feel like that has a little bit more to do with worthiness. Like when you do things for yourself, it's because you have a level of self worth. And
Hmm.
and to me, my self worth is always tied to someone else. It's like when because I always translate their lack of effort and their lack of um, love or intimacy is a reflection of my worth, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And when you put the word unconditional in front of worth, for me it just changed so much.
Yeah. 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 Cool. Cool. Go ahead, Allie. That unconditional worth stuff is. We're gonna get to that too in one of these sessions. Go ahead, Allie. We still. If you're speaking, you're muted.
Oh, hi. You had said to me about unmet expectations, unmet
So yeah. So the
dreams,
question.
future.
So yeah. Yeah. So the
I was gonna
question
answer
is
that
our
one, but
difference.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want you to answer. The difference between for you all, like that whole idea of closure versus completion. because completion is and I'm reading the definition for completion one more time. It's actually in the chat too. Completion is the result of having delivered emotional communication that either we have never made or we have felt was never heard, or that needs to be said again with someone hearing us, right? Hearing us say it. It gives us the ability to say goodbye to any pain that may be limiting us from fond memories and say goodbye to any unmet hopes, dreams, and expectations about the future. Go ahead, Alvin.
Yeah, I think yeah, I agree that I've heard you say that before. I wrote it down last time.
Hmm.
Uh, I agree with that. I'm struggling with. That's where I'm struggling. I think I can accept unmet hopes, dreams, um, but I'm struggling with, I think, the other component here, which is just the communication and being emotionally heard. I feel like I
The
didn't have
undelivered,
that. Yeah.
right? The undelivered communication. All right, you didn't have that. And here's the thing: from your specific partner, you probably won't ever get that. You may not ever get it. That's why
Right.
it's like to actually deliver those communications, to deliver those emotions, to where someone, and that is, we would be his terminology we use in grief recovery, where we're hearts without a mouth. We're just going to hear you deliver that undelivered emotional communication. All right. So it was one thing for me to tell you to get complete. Here is one of the ways that we start to tap into that to really truly gather what are these emotions. And I'm talking about, I mean, getting down and going in there. What has not been said? Our relationships, in most cases, when there's a divorce or separation or a breakup that happens, something is unfinished. What's unfinished? What's left unfinished emotionally, because we have emotional attachments to some of these things in the relationships. What was never said that should have been said? What do you wish was different, better, more? All right, I want y'all to write these down. What do you wish was different, better, more of? There's a reason you have to communicate these things. Your heart knows it and it's holding it. And if it's not truly released, and I'm not talking about just releasing it in a way for you shaming the other person, but to really truly communicate, what did I wish was different, better, was more? What were the hopes? What were the dreams? What was the undelivered communication or the undelivered expectations that I had about our future? What are those things? All right. And when you have all of those things written down, all right, when you have all of those things laid out and all of those things written down, here's the part that you have to be able to say goodbye to any pain from those things that's limiting you. You have to complete it. The emotion is left, like a lot of times when we get divorced or we get stuff, it's left hanging. It's almost like it's just dangling. And we're sitting and waiting for something to change. Time ain't gonna heal you. Time will not heal you. Time may help. You may get numb in the midst of it. If you were to put your arm out, everybody just figuratively, just stick your arm out. If I told you at the beginning of this group, we started 45 minutes ago, and if I told you at the beginning of this group, just hold your arm out and don't nobody put it down until the end of the group, what's going to happen to your arm? One is either going to get extremely tired, or you ever feel that thing, or if you leaned on an arm too long or leaned on a part of your body too long and it just started getting numb. All right. So sometimes that's what happens, but that don't mean that you actually got healed. You didn't take the steps necessarily to actually really get this clean. And the reason that this is important and the reason that we're starting with this is, again, because if we're operating from broken hearts and now we're making decisions out of broken hearts, we're making everything that we do now is coming from broken heart survival, and we're operating from that mode, then we are likely to miss the journey. We're likely to make a bigger mess. We're likely to dig deeper into what we've been feeling in terms of the hurt and the pain. And when I say hurt and the pain, I'm not talking about sadness. These things does not stop sadness from coming. Sometimes you're going to be sad about some stuff. It's, you know, and this is also why I was saying we need to correct how we think about emotional. There's nothing wrong with you being sad. All right. The problem comes in is when you're carrying around pain. and when you're carrying around uh, unforgiveness, because that causes pain. All right. All of these things that is actually causing us pain. So to really deeply gather those emotions, and then, and I'll give a few more points after I get, go ahead, Rochelle. I want to make sure I give everybody a chance to talk, and because we got 8 weeks together. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I have a question. So, like I was saying in my last share, that me and my ex were able to sit down and actually say things that we were never able to say while we were in the relationship, and how there was some peace after that conversation. There was some relief. But
Hmm.
I do notice there is one part of the situation which I'll share. Um, the part that I kind of shared with him that I couldn't speak when I was in the relationship with him was that I did have jealousy over his ex-wife. I think the jealousy was because he lied to me about certain things. And then later on, he decided that he didn't really want to have any more kids. So that was a dream of mine that I held on for many years. And that's why I was with him, thinking I would have a family with him. So when we spoke, that was one of the truth that I said, like, she knew her place. Even though she's no longer your wife, she's your ex-wife, she still knew what her role was in the family. Me just being a girlfriend, I didn't know what my place is, because in my mind, a girlfriend was still an outsider, even though he kept saying that I was someone that was important to him, I was part of his family, etc.
Hmm.
So me saying all this, I noticed within myself that even though I said it, he heard me, he acknowledged me with everything, and he already knew that I was jealous of her, whatever the case may be. It still stings even thinking about it. So does that mean I'm not completely complete with that?
It still,
Hmm.
you said it still stings,
It still
stings.
stings, like, just the thought of it still kind of brings a very like a jealousy. That's the emotion that I feel. I'm not angry at her. I used to be angry at her for whatever reason, even though she was not the one um that was obligated to me. It was him. But there's still a jealousy, even though I'm not with him anymore, and even though I already said my piece to him. He acknowledged me, he heard me, he knew that that's what I felt. It's still there. How do you heal from that, if that makes
Okay,
any
so
sense?
yeah, so there that may be indication that there is still something there, right? There is
Hmm.
still something that you haven't necessarily gotten complete on that. What does that jealousy represent? What does it threaten? What does it represent? How did it make you? Okay, so what's in jealousy? We hear jealousy, right? We definitely hear that it makes you feel jealous. Why?
Because she was his wife, ex-wife
But
now, but that was his wife, and I never got that title, even though I've been with him for so many years, or I was with him for so many years. That was one. The other part is the fact that everything that I wanted with him, having a family, she got with him.
Mhm.
And I just felt like I made so many sacrifices within the relationship, but my return of investment was nothing. And I I just feel down at times, because I felt like, damn, I really wasted 16 years of my life and try to be the best person in the world, and I didn't get anything from it. And so here she is, even though they were young, and obviously they grew up, and they're not compatible in his eyes. Somehow she still got everything that I wanted.
Mhm. Mhm. And her getting what you wanted, and you put a whole bunch of effort in to get that.
Yes.
Hmm. How you feel about that?
It's weird, because if you talk
You
to
feel
me
cheated?
7 months, yeah, I feel very cheated. 7 months ago, it would have been that the feeling would have been very intense. But I noticed saying it right now, it's there, but it's not as intense as that if you
As
spoke
it
to me
was.
7 months ago. Yes.
Why is it not as intense now?
Maybe because I'm slowly accepting that that's how my life is, and that I had to, that sometimes you do an investment like with the stock market, and sometimes you don't get the return like you would like it, and sometimes that's just a gamble that you have to make when you go into a relationship. And I guess maybe there's a part of me that's slowly accepting that and realizing that that's what happened.
Did you explain all of that to him?
Right. Well, right now, my journey that I'm going through, no, I just told him in the conversation that I was just so jealous of her that I didn't appreciate the things that he was doing for me, because throughout the relationship, I realized he was trying to, show me that I was his priority. He's not a man of, sometimes honestly, Zar, you remind me of him, the way you think of things and the way you talk.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
because they call him, his name is Lee too. So, but
Oh.
that was another thing when you said that some people call you Mr. Lee, that threw me off. But he's the type of person, he's all about actions. He's not about words. He'll rather show you how he really feels, because he feels like
Mm-hmm.
so many people can tell you whatever the hell they want, you know what I mean, but do opposite, you know what I mean, as far as their actions are concerned. And so, throughout the years, when I would look back, I'm like, you know what? He was trying to show me that I was a priority to him, that he loved me, that he cared about me. But I was not focused on that. I was focused on the things that he wasn't giving me, the things that I wasn't getting, and so I was so focused on that, I missed everything else that was happening, you know what I mean? Because of the pain and the anger and the unforgiveness, that my heart right now, though, I do feel like my heart is a lot more open to things,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So in the sense of becoming deep, you're already in that journey. Obviously, it sounds like you're already in that path. All right. And there may be still some senses of feeling sad about it or feeling well, but you may also still feel very deeply, because if you only told him that you were jealous about it, but you didn't say, I was jealous about this, and when I felt jealous, this makes me feel this. And because even the thing of feeling jealous, there's something that possibly you feel wasn't in his eyes, even though he does things the way he does it. That's your intellectual knowledge of knowing how he functions.
Mm-hmm.
Our intellectual knowledge of knowing how somebody functions does not necessarily answer our emotional experience of it. All right. So you intellectually know that that's how he functions.
Mm-hmm.
But could you feeling jealous also speak to something in you that feels like, oh, well, what makes her worthy of this, but not me?
Yeah. That
Okay.
is.
So then now we're needing to deal with the sense of worth that obviously, like you said, according to him, that ain't even the case.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something as to why this is reflecting to you as you're not worthy.
Yeah, and I know even actually when you just said that again, the unworthiness ties in with my sexual abuse from my father, and that's
Yeah.
something else that I've already correlated in a sense throughout this journey. Is a lot of the things, the unmet needs that I needed from him, it was something that I had needed from my parents, specifically my father, and that I'm trying to heal from. So you just saying unworthy, and it directed me to that, and that's where my unworthiness came, especially when my mom wasn't there to protect me. I mean, she didn't know about it, until I said something, but she never divorced him until later on, after she tried to wrap her head around the whole situation. But the unworthiness, it was more of, number one, why did this happen to me? And number two, why didn't my mom just leave him when she first heard and protected me, instead of going through the process of trying to keep the family together, even though it was hurting me as a child, as an 11-year-old child, trying to navigate what the hell just happened to me. So
Yep.
all of that is tying in, and I think that just ties
Hmm.
in the unworthiness.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. So that all of that has to be gathered and all of that has to be delivered. Not necessarily to him.
Hmm.
Okay. Not necessarily to him. Usually not to him. All right. But your situation is a little bit more unique because I've heard your situation. You guys are in the midst of trying to reconcile, but that needs to be delivered and communicated, even if it's just to us.
Hmm.
We need to hear you say that. We need to receive you saying that, and we need to support you as you say that. And
Yeah.
then you need to say, after you've said that, I'm letting go of this pain, the pain of that.
Hmm.
I gotta go now. Bye. That emotion is complete.
Hmm.
Now I still got to do work, right? Because I'm still gonna feel sad as it. Some of the things may still kind of come up, and sometimes you may have to write a PS letter,
Hmm.
but you got to go all the way to that point. The jealousy is a manifestation of something else going on.
Yeah. And you just hit it, and I didn't expect to cry, but you just hit it on the nail. And I just,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Got to deal in that space. We deal in that space. See, this is all going to be a part of you being able to reclaim and move forward even more, even in more of your peace. And take the peace that you got. Keep using that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Peace.
Yes.
There is no way to. Peace is the way. So keep embodying that, and take
Hmm.
that same peace. Take the
Hmm.
same peace to that pain
Yes.
and tend to it, and then and find one of us, somebody close to you, somebody whatever, and then write it all out. However you need to write it out, y'all. This is gonna take some work. Get this stuff written out. However, write out for you means. If it's journaling, if it's whatever, and we need to deliver this to somebody's heart that can hear us and hold space for it. If you were to write these things in a letter, at the end of the letter, it needs to say, "Goodbye now. I gotta go.
Hmm.
I'm moving on to I'm moving on to some other things." And it's not being said with attitude. It's saying, listen, you were here, you showed me what happened, you revealed to me some pain that was there, but I gotta go now. This is not even about saying bye to the other person. This is about being able to say bye to the pain that may be limiting us. Y'all hearing me? It's saying
Yes,
bye to the
yes.
pain that might be limiting us. Saying goodbye to those unmet hopes, dreams, and expectations. This doesn't mean that you're not going to have some more hopes, dreams, and expectations in life. It's just saying I got to say goodbye to what was. Tomorrow may bring anything. I've seen divorce. I ain't gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there. But you're saying goodbye to what is,
Right.
what you recognize as is today, right now. I got to say bye to you. You're getting emotional completion regarding that. Some of the reason that we can't navigate and we get stuck is because I'm going to say this, y'all, and we'll keep talking about it through the rest of the weeks because we got to go. But it's because we're trying to say bye to the person. As relational beings, we're trying to say bye to the person instead of saying bye to the pain. All right, somebody will catch that tonight when you're in the middle of sleep.
Question,
Go
Lorenzo,
ahead, D.
Czar. You
Lorenzo.
said, I'm sorry. I know
go
I
ahead.
said that the
Go,
last time, Czar. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. I answered everything this
You
time with an
said,
L. Go ahead.
emotion. You said, I was trying to write down what you said. So you said, we need to different, better, and more. And then what did
What
you
do you
say?
wish? Yeah, what do you wish was different, better, and more,
And then
more
what?
of like, and then the unmet hopes, dreams, and expectations.
Okay. And to the young lady that was just talking, sweetheart, I don't know you, but I tell you that you are so worthy of everything that you've been through. You're so worthy. Don't ever give up on yourself. And
Love it. Love it.
God is going to take care of the person that harmed you. So
All right.
just hang in there,
Awesome.
darling. Okay.
Thanks, D.
Al-
Yeah.
Along with giving that love to Rochelle, let's give that love to D and everybody else on here. Let's just fill our page with the love, or whatever, because we're gonna need it. Hopefully, some of y'all come back next week. All right, for this, because I would love for all of us that's here right now to keep walking through this for this next 8 weeks. I know everybody got schedules and things going on, but I would love for us to really walk through this. It's my hope and it is my dream and my whole expectation, so don't make me have to grieve it, that we will that we will be able to reclaim our tomorrow, and that we will have just a whole new consciousness of heart as we navigate through this. You all are worthy of that. Every last one of you. Go ahead, Luciano, then we're going to get out of here, man.
Hey, I got booted like 20 minutes ago and had a difficult time getting back in here.
Oh, wow.
Could I please ask everyone to repeat everything they just said in the last 20 minutes?
He said, "Come back next week."
Thank you for making us laugh.
He said, "Come back next week, everybody."
Right.
Zara, are you doing this at 9:00 Eastern time every night this week?
It is.
For the next
I think
8 weeks?
it's. No, it's. I think it's 10. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's 10 p.m. Yeah, it's the same time every week this week. So it's 7 o'clock for me. So that's 10 o'clock
Okay, so it's
Eastern.
9:00. It's you're in what state are you in?
I'm in Pacific. I'm in Nevada.
Okay.
Is this being recorded?
I'm in Texas.
Yeah, the master classes
So
are
it's
recorded.
9:00 my time.
They are recorded? Okay, because I didn't do nothing to record, so I'm hoping it's recorded. All right.
I got a warning. They give you a warning when you come in. It's like this audio room is recorded. It's only the master
Okay, great.
classes, but it did give me a
you.
warning when I came in.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
I did
Oh,
want to
man.
just say, Rochelle, you got this, girl.
Oh,
You
thank
got
you,
this,
Daniel.
sister.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I put in the chat if y'all want to copy that. That's just like our little agenda for the next 8 weeks. And again, we're organic with it, so we may bounce around with it. But that's just to kind of give you a highlight of where we're going to go with this.
Copying and pasting now.
All right. All
Good
right,
night,
y'all.
y'all.
All right. Good night, everybody. Y'all
See
be
you guys
good.
next week.
Good night.
Thank you, Czar.
Everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Peace.
Aloha.